Welcome back to Consciousness Explained series. This is Shiva. Today we are going to see an open secret state. It is a world history riddle novel which is in a different format than our usual stuff. Now let's move to southeast side. The southeast side has temperate weather, rich with resources and fertile landscape. And the main characters Bharat and Sindhu, both of them harmonious couple, they seem to have been married forever. Their large family lives in the southeast side before three cousin sisters have grown up on the west side. Sindhu is a pious, wise, fair, loving woman with cultured manners, and she knows the secret code with the technique that was passed down orally from her ancestors. Her husband Bharat is a brown-skinned, good-looking masculine, hard-working guy, ethical values, wise and just. Seems like a perfect match. Their first-born child, like his parents, he's both wise and also teaches the whole family. And he compiles all the secret code techniques and divides them into two portions called the action and wisdom portion, and teaches the entire family. And right after Ved Yoga, two children are born. One is Jaini and Buchi. And Ved Yoga's action portion are not fully understood clearly, and with the misunderstanding, some of the family members started performing animal sacrifice, which was not really meant by Ved Yoga. And so that leads to birth of Jaini and Buchi. They create a separate branch lines, still living within the southeast side. They are more like a sub family lines. Most of the wisdom portion tally with them. However, the action portion and some of the methods that Jaini and Buchi created differ from Ved Yoga. And both of them redefined the secret code techniques to match their style. And Jaini's line and Buchi's line later get curtailed strongly by Advisa. We'll see when we cover that Advisa character. Gupti is the next child. He's a glorious leader of the family, just like his dad. Spread the family's reach to the entire southeast side and brought many into Sindhu's fold with the help of her illustrious sister Dharmi. And Dharmi is a wonder child, and she is also assists in Ved Yoga in teaching role, and she, like mom, has all good characteristics. She did one fabulous thing, that she integrated an individual's life journey in such a way that it helps to master the technique through the life process itself. So that's the ingenious creation of Dharmi, which made a lot of people really to learn the secret code technique fairly easily. And after that point, between Gupti and Dharmi's influence, the child that was born is Goldini. She is the cream of those two previous characters, and she was born during prosperous times, an artistic, creative, most beautiful child, developed literature, music, dance, drama, and thereby attracting neighboring families and also envy. The next two are most brilliant children, Advisa and a group of children called Dvibas. And Advisa is the brilliant, profound thinker who, following Ved Yogas and Dharmi's techniques, he enhanced further to empirically approach secret code and also removed all the inconsistencies. And he was responsible for thinning the branch lines earlier founded by Jaini and Buchi, and almost she sent Buchi line out of southeast side to east and far east side. The Dvibas is also a group of pious children with a devotional temperament, however, and they have developed a different technique, not Advisa's type. It's on the other end of the spectrum, and each one of them created their own variation to decipher the secret code. But unfortunately, due to machinations of the subsequent evil sisters Casti and Karmi, Dvibas's technique is not fully preserved and could be carried forward to future generations. Now that brings us to Casti and Karmi. Casti and Karmi are the evil sisters that are the ruiners of Sindhu family. So what Casti does is, Casti is a rigid, discriminatory person. She made all the Vedyog dharmis techniques of dividing individual level of consciousness into, they basically tied them to the birth line, thereby creating large divisions within the family. So each branch line gets divided into 4 major branches, and each of those sub branches gets subsequently divided into hundreds of smaller groups, creating thousands of groups, and thereby it weakened the family tremendously. And her twin sister Karmi is also a literal and also interprets the natural law called karma into something demonic. And she made people to be very fearful and regressive, not try anything new. With Casti, Karmi basically killed Dharmi's influence to the minimum, and there is only one small branch that's left out untainted by them that we will see later when we cover the latest generation. The next one is the Medin is the result of Casti's Karmi's handiwork, and that resulted into thousands of groups based on the 4 main divisions. They added based on language, locality, and style of cooking and everything, whatnot, name it, you will have the type, and call them castes, and became vulnerable for attacks and could not protect the large family. Isli's Moog that we saw earlier looted Medin's wealth, and the heads of these families, family groups are called as Zamis, and they had petty fights between themselves over pride and control of resources. Maag exploited the division, and he looked at divided family in the large southeast landscape and relocated into better pastures, and married many of the women of Medin Zami's family, and gave birth to Urdin in southeast side, and it created a new branch that's away from Sindhu's family but still living in that same landscape, and they have different manners, not incompatible with Sindhu's. The next important one called Brindi, and this is a weakened scattered large family that fell prey to Kalampi's desire, that's from west family line, who came under the guise of businessmen, and further divided Brindi and conquered the whole family, including Ardin. And also with Prali's help, they created a new branch line called Inkri in southeast side, and started converting many people to Christie's ways. And the Brindis people also got fascinated by STEMI's ingenuity and the machines and tools that STEMI created, and started distancing from Dharmi's influence. So from that point onwards, Sindhu's family also have the education more of STEMI's or west side education. Due to Kalampi's systematic looting, it impoverished the once rich Sindhu family into utter poverty, giving birth to Inpavi. Finally, with the group of loyal Sindhu children called Frigandi, who under the leadership of Gandhi used some of the Dharmis principles and successfully resisted Kalampi and pressed to take the control back in Sindhu's family. And Kalampi, being distracted by the tyrant Nahi and Imp Jap, relinquished the control to Frigandi. And during that relinquishing, the last gift that was given by Kalampi was this Ardpa, which is basically a group of Ardins who relocated into the west side of the southeast landscape, and they basically drove all the Sindhu people away from that west side land, creating a lot of displacement, looting, and atrocities. And during that time was born is a character called Naras, and he is a disciplined, loyal. He was opposed to Urdhpa's separation. He ends up defending Sindhu's family from attacks that comes from both Isli families like Jihas, Istera, and Inkri inside, and also Urdhpa. After Kalampi's departure, a group of leaders in Sindhu's family called Ne Second, they follow more secular principles, and they are more inclusive of Inkri and Urdin. So although of inclusiveness is good, they do not like their own dharmis principles and teachings, and they are infatuated with both Stemis ways, and also Kamasia, who came from Kami's family to east. They have affairs with Kamasia that gives rise to a child called Staplan. Staplan is basically centralized planning every 5 years for family finances planning and development. And that led to the group of leaders called Karupali. And they are basically inside looters, very corrupt, and who succeeded after most of the Frigandis people and their ideals died out. And Bali is the Sindhu's clone of Hali, and she is the entertainer of the whole Sindhu family, and also expand her influence as Globi collapses the boundaries. Bali's influence reaches to east side as well. The Dispari is also another bad child born from that era, and discriminating based on money power, has genes of Casti and Karmi, and very greedy and flirts with outsiders, especially Capis descendants. Inconfu is the generation with confused values from the cross currents of Sindhu's family and the Stemis teachings, and not aware of Sindhu's glorious past. Now there is an interesting character here called Yogyan. He is the wise man in the family, unaffected by Casti Karmi's line. He basically is born out of the family thin line that was left over from Vedyog, Dharmi, and Advisa. And Yogyan ingenuity is he revives the techniques for the secret code that was originally understood and as devised by Vedyog, Dharmi, and Advisa. Marries the Vespi on the west side. Yogyan teaches the willing people, whoever is in the Globi's reach, Yogyan is able to teach them, both in Sindhis families and also outsiders. Latest in this family is Softy, smart, adaptive, young child, workaholic, got rich by marrying the influential Kampi on the west side, and infused new life into financially starving Sindhu family. Hope the story was both informational at the same time enjoyable. If you are watching this video in parts, you can find the other parts of the story and also more about secret code and its techniques at YouTube PhD Shiva channel. Your feedback and comments are welcome. If you have any specific questions, please write email, or you can join Atmarashtra Facebook group. It is open for public. Thanks for watching.